Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to do something perhaps it's a little bit intimidating, but there's no reason you can't do this yourself. Just take your time with it, and there's a lot of help out on the internet these days on how to do these sorts of things. I'm going to walk through it, and if you need to replace this, if you need to work on your toilet, don't be intimidated. Yeah, it's a little gross, but it's okay. So this is a what is this? What do they actually call this thing? A performance toilet fill valve and flapper repair kit for a 3-inch flush valve, and this is intended for an American standard toilet. I think these things are pretty universal, but there are some variances. So you know you try to get the right part first. They're not too expensive, but if you get the right one first, you're better off. So this was only $20 on Amazon, and I'm sure that your local hardware store has the same kind of thing for about the same price. So that is the valve mechanism, and that black part is the float. And as the water level goes up and down, that turns the water on and off. And the little red and white plastic piece, that's the flapper valve. Looks a little bit like a Star Trek Enterprise thing. That controls the water, or shuts the water off from going into the tank. So I'm sure you probably know this, right? The tank fills up with water. You pull that flapper valve up with the chain. Water goes in, flushes the toilet, and then it refills. That's the basic product. This little guy came with, there's a couple little, it came with the new seals and some attachment hardware. I'll go through that in just a second. I'm going to just go through the whole install. That little nut, plastic nut, goes in the bottom of the tank, and then that red washer secures against the bottom of the tank so that you don't have any leaks. And of course, after you get this installed, check back every day, for a while, to make sure you're not getting any drips. And so that's the overflow. I'll get to that in a minute. So this particular unit came with some pretty good instructions. You see there's good pictures, walks you through the process. I think you can do this. Okay, so let's put it on, see how it works. Okay, little spoiler, I've already got this in here. I'm doing a voiceover, right? So that's the water tank, and that's the old pump. And what's going on is you can flush it, but it doesn't refill. So that's the water valve. Your toilet will have a valve. Turn that clockwise, and it'll turn it off. Then get the water out of the tank, and I'm just using a little rag to do that here. A sponge would be good, but I didn't have a sponge. Now, that's a pumice stone on a long handle, and you could clean that tank if you wanted to. It's a bit embarrassing, but that water's just going down the toilet anyway. So undo the connection fitting. That's a plastic fitting, and a little water will come out of there, but that fitting came off the bottom of the tank, and then there's a little plastic nut there that holds it on. I wanted to show that to you. Undo that. Little water may come out, but it shouldn't be too bad. I used these channel locks to get that plastic nut off. You could use a wrench or socket or something, but I just had these channel locks handy, so I used that. So here's the old one coming out. Unhook the flapper valve there. In this case, it was just a chain. See how the chain pulls up that valve. Try not to break those plastic parts, right? So try not to break that plastic. I was a little rough there, but it just snaps off. Okay, new part going in. It just goes on those posts, and then just push it on. Again, go easy with it. Don't break that plastic, or it'll become a lot bigger project. And as the chain goes up and down, that's how that flapper works in the bottom. The chain goes over to that little white plastic on the right of the screen. and you hook that in there and adjust the chain. When it's hooked, when it's connected, you adjust the length. It should have a little slack in it, but it also should be tight enough that you can pull it open. Okay, now that little red washer goes onto the valve with the tiny part going down. And this particular valve, that screw adjust the water level, and you'll need to adjust the water level. That'll be in the instructions, but the water level so that it doesn't go into the overflow. So that goes down, right, just into the little hole. Then you put the little plastic screw on and tighten it down. I didn't get any footage of that, but that's the little screw. You just put that on the bottom. Now here's the overflow line that goes into that little center area, and that's if that tank overfills, the design is so that the overflow will go into the tank and then down into the sewer and not overflow into the bathroom. You'll probably have to cut that, but the idea here is you just push it down in that overflow tube there so that it doesn't secure it so that it doesn't come out. Okay, so you see I've got that down in there a few inches now. Okay, what's next? I think that's it. Let's just turn it on and see how it works. So I just reach down, turn the valve on. Watch that there's no water dripping out of the bottom of the toilet during this part. I mean, there shouldn't even be a single drop. So, and you can see now, the problem I had with that not refilling. That's good. Now, I want to make sure that the water goes up to the same level or approximately the same level that it was. And you can see I'm just kind of testing that float. It should go on and off. See, it should work freely. That screw on the top, that's also on this particular model, adjust where the top of the water level is. And you don't want water going over into that tube. That's the little white piece with the black rubber hose going into it. You want to make sure that the water, see how close that is? That water's too high. So I'm going to take and use a screwdriver and adjust it to where the water is a little bit lower. That adjusts where the float sits. So really that's it. I just adjust the water, test it, cycle it a few times, clean up underneath the bottom, check for leaks. Look up there, make sure there's no water there, and do that every few days to make sure that you don't have any leaks. So anyway, as Ringo says, peace and love and good luck with your repair.